Starlight Studios.
The Biscuit Brothers presents Babysitting. Today is a very special day for Mrs. Nelson because she has some tiny visitors in her home. Her granddaughters have come to stay with her for the weekend. All 4 of them. Vanessa, the oldest, was quite bossy, even though no one actually listened to her. Melissa, the next oldest, was very sweet, but she cried a lot. Sarah, the next oldest, was very rambunctious and was quite the troublemaker. And of course, there was little Ava. She was the youngest of the 4 who had just began to crawl. "Okay, girls, who would like to bake a cake?" "Oh, we would, Grandmother. We would love to have a cake." "All right then, let's get to it." Mrs. Nelson brought all of the girls into the kitchen to start the cake. "Okay, let's see. We need some eggs, milk, flour, sugar, and butter." As Mrs. Nelson placed the ingredients on the counter, she realized that she was missing a few things that she needed for the cake. I do believe we are a few ingredients short. I am missing some sugar, eggs, and some flour. Oh, will we still be able to have the cake, Grandmother? Of course, girls. I will just have to run to the store for a bit to get what we need. It will be a much faster trip if I could leave you girls here, but you are much too young to stay by yourselves. I will just have to find a babysitter to stay with you while I go to the store. Mrs. Nelson thought about who she could leave the girls with for a bit while she went to the store. I know. I'll call Mr. Maloney. Mrs. Nelson called Mr. Maloney, but he was not home and did not answer the phone. He isn't home. I know. I'll call Henry and George to see if they will watch you for a bit. Mrs. Nelson called Henry and George to see if they would watch the girls. Hello? Why, hello, Henry. I say, is George there with you? Why, yes, he's right here beside me. Why do you ask? I would like to bake a cake for my granddaughters, but I do not have all of the ingredients that I need here at home. I need to run to the store for a short spell to get some things for the cake, but I need someone to watch the girls for a bit while I'm gone. Do you think you and George could sit with them for a bit? Why, of course, Mrs. Nelson. We would be delighted to watch them while you go to the store. And so the brothers Henry and George agreed to come over and sit with Mrs. Nelson's granddaughters while she went to the store. When the brothers arrived, the girls were very excited to have some company, but the brothers had no idea what to expect. Hello, Mrs. Nelson. We are here to watch the girls so that you can go to the store. Oh, splendid. Thank you boys so much. Okay, I'll be right back. Now, girls, you be good and be on your best behavior for Uncle Henry and Uncle George, all right? Yes, Grandmother, we will behave. Well, all right then, I'm off. Thank you again, boys. Mrs. Nelson left to go to the store, and Henry and George were there to babysit the girls. Now that she was gone, it was just the 2 brothers and the 4 granddaughters. Henry looked at George, and then George looked at Henry, and then both of them looked at the 4 granddaughters. I say, George, have you ever babysat children before? You know, now that you mentioned it, no, I haven't. What about you, Henry? No, I have not either. Well, they are just little children. How difficult could it be? Okay, girls, we are going to have a good time. Do you want to play a game? Yes, a game. Boy, you are right, Henry. This will be easy after all. So Henry and George set up the game for them all to play. But no sooner had they set the game up than Vanessa began to get bossy. I will hand out all of the pieces to the game, and I will be the red piece, and Melissa, you can be the blue piece. No, Vanessa, I want the red piece. You can be the blue piece. No, Melissa, I said I am going to be the red piece, and if you don't like it, then you simply will not play. Melissa did not like being bossed around, and then she began to cry. Then out of nowhere, Sarah took off running and ran right through the game, knocking pieces everywhere. Sarah! Look what you did! When Vanessa yelled, little Ava realized that Grandmother was not there anymore, and she began to cry very loudly also. Grandma! Grandma! George, I believe we may have stepped into a bit of trouble here. I'll say. Wait, how many of them were there again? There are only 3 here. Oh no, there's supposed to be 4. That means one of them must be missing. Sarah did not stop running after she knocked the game over, and now she was somewhere in the house, but the brothers did not know where. Oh dear. Okay, I'll go find the one who ran off, and you stay here with the other 3 girls. By now, Melissa and little Ava had finally stopped crying due to all of the excitement from Sarah running off. George put little Ava into her baby swing and turned it on level 3 to keep her calm. After that, he tried to set the game back up, but when he did, he accidentally handed the blue piece to Vanessa and the red piece to Melissa. No, Uncle George, the red piece is mine. I said I wanted to be the red piece. And with that, Vanessa went over to Melissa and took the red piece away from her. Of course, this made Melissa very upset, and she began to cry again. No, Vanessa, Uncle George gave it to me. I wanted to use the red one. Uncle George, make her give it back. Now, Henry finally found Sarah in the hallway, drawing on the wall with her new crayon. No! Oh, Mrs. Nelson is going to be very upset. Come on, let's get you back with the others. Henry, thank goodness you are back. These 2 keep fighting over the red piece and... Henry, what is that terrible smell? The smell seemed to be coming from the same direction as little Ava. George picked her up to find that little Ava has made a huge mess in her diaper. Oh no! What will we do now? Henry and George sat down and began to cry with the girls, who by this point were all very upset for different reasons. Oh George, how did we get into this mess? I don't remember, but this was an absolutely terrible idea. And just when it seemed that things couldn't possibly get any worse, they didn't. Mrs. Nelson returned. Oh my goodness! Why is everyone so upset? Henry and George explained about the game, and the red piece and the blue piece, and the crying, and the crayon on the wall, and the horribly dirty diaper. Mrs. Nelson was laughing so hard by the end of their story, she had tears running down her face. Then she got everyone calmed down, changed the baby, and began to bake the cake. Before long, the whole house smelled like delicious cake, and everyone was excited to try a piece. Okay, everyone, time for cake. So, boys, what did you think of your first time babysitting? I believe it's best to leave some jobs to the experts, like yourself. To which George replied, I could not agree more. The end. Hello friends, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to click the subscribe button as well as the alert notification bell so you can always be aware of our latest adventures, just like these. See you soon!